Apple's the next of the, well, at least formerly Mag 7, set to report earnings. That's in less than 24 hours. Joining us now to share his preview of those results, Scott Kessler of Third Bridge. Scott, this is ahead of the Worldwide Developer Conference, ahead of the big unit numbers for iPhone in the back of the year. How much do these particular numbers matter versus things that they might hint at?
Yeah, you know, John, I was thinking a similar thing because also they have the iPad event next week. So it seems like there's a lot in front of the company that they're not necessarily going to speak to in conjunction with these results. And I think, frankly, a lot of people are concerned about what Apple might communicate at this point. I think expectations are for revenues to decline somewhere in the vicinity of 4 to 5%. Folks are looking for iPhone units at around 50 million. So the reality is that I think people are thinking about the downside for Apple here. The stock hasn't been a great performer. I think it's down 9–10% year to date. So I do think, however, that people are inclined to look ahead at this point, whether it's at the event next week. The Worldwide Developers Conference will be underway, I think, within 6 weeks. And then, obviously, you'll get some new product in the market, presumably in September.
I wonder how much China in particular has to be in the spotlight, maybe a pressure point. Qualcomm's up 5%. Cristiano Amon, the CEO over there, telling us that the Android premium smartphone market actually looking pretty strong and the market shifting in his direction. And given the headlines that we've seen about Apple weakness in China, that might raise some questions, no?
Yeah, I agree, John. And I think that Apple is super focused on China, as are, frankly, the key stakeholders. If you think about, the macro dynamics, if in fact you're seeing strength from an alternative option, that coupled with indications that Apple has continued to lose market share in what is their second largest country contributor to revenues, the reality is that China becomes more and more of an issue that people are focusing on, and I'm not so sure that they've figured that out quite yet.
Okay. I mean, does this really hinge on iPhones? Is that really going to be the key metric where Apple is concerned, especially with the bar so low? Or if you see better services numbers, if you see better Mac numbers, some of these other businesses that we don't talk about quite as much, is that enough, because the bar is low, to offset the focus on iPhone and actually send shares higher if it's better than feared?
I think the name of the game here, Morgan, is iPhones. And people might be looking ahead to better things. They're looking forward to, an AI-enabled phone. The company obviously needs to speak to that because all the experts that we talk to when it comes to Apple and AI say one thing, and that's that Apple is lagging in a significant way when it comes to their competitors and peers. So we'll see if they make any hints about what's to come. But I think, as John alluded to, that's going to happen, in 5 to 6 weeks at WWDC, one would think.
Yeah, and just, I guess, looking ahead to WWDC, is that really where we're going to start to see more of a fleshed out AI plan for Apple, and probably shouldn't expect it before that, especially with some of the headlines and reports that we've gotten in terms of refocusing efforts away from something like autos, for example, towards robots?
The short answer to that question is one would hope. I think a lot of people are expecting some breadcrumbs to kind of be dropped so that people are, in fact, looking ahead to the Worldwide Developers Conference in June. But the reality is this is something that Apple needs to address because it's something that, frankly, has been an overhang on the company and, frankly, the stock. And it's something that, frankly, has propped those up just over the last couple of weeks as some of the chatter has centered on partnerships and what they're going to do with respect to an AI-enabled phone.